welcome back to Julie in the Garden. Today is May 17th and I'm going to be doing an orchard tour for you. The daffodils are still blooming. We've got this beautiful bloom on this apple tree here. And so I just want to show you the state of the orchard as it is now in May. I am starting with the berry garden here. I'm considering it part of the orchard for these tours at least. And here we have our blackberry fence we've done some work on, I believe, since I last showed you. So it's got, I tied up the blackberries and they're leafing out beautifully. Let me show you here a little close up. Oh, preferably without my shadow. There we go. So I'm really hoping we get some blackberries this year. We'll see. We also did a layer of compost and then cardboard and then mulch. So where you see the grass coming up along the edges, we didn't have cardboard there. That's what that is. These are some of the strawberries I transplanted actually in the green stalk video. These are the extra ones that I planted here. And so they're looking pretty happy. Is that a flower? Oh, guys, there's a flower. That's exciting. Okay, oh, and another one over here. So we may get some strawberries from them this year. Yes. So exciting. This is my favorite blackberry here just because, I mean, it grew so well last year and then I was able to tie it up. This is kind of what I envision all of them looking like and spreading out. So that's fantastic. So, and this is, I believe, a Natchez thornless blackberry. These are all thornless. If they're not as hardy as the thorned ones. So if these don't do well, I would go ahead and purchase thorned because we're kind of just on the borderline for them. Okay, so back here, I'm just going to show you, ignore the grass. I haven't gotten to these beds yet, but these are the blueberries. There's 4 beds of 4. And these ones up here are our earliest ones, and then I believe the ones behind are shortly after at the same time. So they're flowering, and I don't know if you haven't seen a blueberry flower before. They're so pretty. Aren't those just gorgeous? These ones look like they're a little dry. I might need to water them. But I just think they're the prettiest little things. They're like little bells. Yeah, so we've got lots of flowers on those, which is exciting. We didn't have as many last year. And so I'm hoping for a good harvest this year. My plans with these beds is to weed them and just give them a good thick layer of compost. I did put some blood meal for extra nitrogen on the ones that we planted last year, but not on the other ones because I didn't want them to focus too much on leaf growth. I wanted some fruit from them this year. So let's come over here for a minute because we've got, looks like there's some more beautiful flowers. These ones are like mid-season, I believe. Look at that. So those ones are, you can tell they're more in bud form. They're just like a little bit behind the other ones there. Yep. So moving on, just in case you haven't, I don't know if I talked about this before actually, but I do have plans for this middle section. It's not going to be just left open, but for this year it is. Hopefully by this fall we'll be able to prep a bed that will then be planted next year. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing, but roses are at the top of the list. Okay, then I've got 4 raspberry beds, which again, I've only gotten to weeding one of them so far. So they will again get weeded and get a good layer of compost on them. And these 2 I'm pointing that I'm facing over here are fall bearing. So they're going to bear on the prima canes, on the first year canes. Let me come over and show you. There are canes coming up amongst the grass. We got about a week of really good rain, which was great, but it like really turbocharged the grass as well. So you can see in there, there's all that new growth coming up. So those will, this is Anne, which is a yellow one. It's delicious. And that one there, ooh, we have 2 different red ones. And so I don't remember if it's Killarney or Heritage. It's one or the other. It's whatever one is fall bearing. And then I'll come back to the other ones when we get over there. Let me come back here now. I planted a bunch of daffodils and alliums around these cherry trees, and they're actually just starting to bloom. They're a little bit later than the other ones, but I think that's because I put them in last December. So this is our little cherry tree. This is, I can look at the tag and tell you what kind. This is an Evans cherry tree, and it's alive and leafing out, so that's great. You can see this allium here. It's gonna burst open soon, I think. They're so cool looking, even when they like just are budding up like that. So cool. And these are, the daffodils are a pink narcissus mix, and the alliums are a medium allium mix, and those are both from Fedco, as are actually both these cherry trees. Some of our blueberries are also from Fedco. I believe both the blackberries and the raspberries and some of the blueberries are from Norse Farm. So just to give you an idea. Along here I have honeyberry bushes. So most of these ones were planted last year, and I thought they were all dead. But they're not. Look at them. They're very much alive. And these get pretty big, which is why they're spaced so far apart. They can get like 5 feet tall and wide. And so I ordered more this year, thinking, you know, I'll replace the ones that are dead. And they all survived. So I did plant some more. So this one over here is a new one. It's a honeybee variety, which is leafed out. It came without its leaves. So I'm happy about that. It looks happy in there. And these were also got compost, cardboard, and mulch. And it was flowering, but I think now it's starting to set fruits. Isn't that so cool? I'm kind of sorry I missed the flowers. They were gorgeous. I'm sure I took pictures, so I will insert one here so you can see. This one I'm pretty sure is Aurora. Most of the ones I have are Aurora. They're a good pollinator for most of the other ones. I know I also have an indigo gem. Oh, I can put down all the different kinds I have below. This is our first year that it looks like we're gonna get fruit from them, so that's really exciting. This is another cherry tree. I want to say it's a Montmorency. If not, I will correct myself on the screen. This actually bloomed this year. This we planted last year, but it came bigger, I assume older than the other trees that we had put in the first year. It's also from Fedco. And yeah, so I let it bloom. I will see what happens, because the other one didn't bloom, so we probably didn't get cross-pollination. So we probably won't get fruit off it anyways, but if we do, I'll probably end up picking the fruits off or only let a few go. So, ooh, that allium is blooming here. Look at that. These are so cool. Yeah. So those are all looking good. We've got more honeyberries. So these first 3 were also planted last year. And I'm not sure if the one on the end was flowering and fruiting, but this one is, I believe. Let's look. Yep. Little honeyberry fruits. Apparently, they are not ripe when they turn blue like blueberries, so you got to kind of wait. So we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. We'll update you. And then I put 3 more new ones down here. So the one in the middle looks pretty good. It's got some leaves. The other 2, I'm not sure. But again, I thought the ones from last year were dead. So, you know. Oh, nope. That one looks like it has some leaves now. Well, that's good. I'm trying to, so last year there was just a lot of weed pressure in this bed. The paper I used to block out weeds was not thick enough. And so between that and it just being such a dry year, I think they just didn't do well. So I'm going to try to be a bit better about both watering and weeding this year. Let me just return to these raspberry beds so I can tell you a little bit about them. So this one in front is red, and it's, again, either Heritage or Killarney. This one is a summer bearing, so this will bear on last year's canes. This one didn't grow as well last year as the other ones, and so they're little. And so I'm hoping we get some fruit and that there's more that come up this year. We'll just see how that goes. I did weed it once, even though the grass is coming back. You can tell it's different than the other ones. And that one there, that looks glorious. Here, let me go around to it. This one here is a purple royalty, so this will be a purple raspberry. So it's not a black raspberry, but purple. And these canes grew really well last year, and then there's new ones coming up this year. And you can kind of see, like, well, this new one is really easier to see, maybe it's because it's darker. There's like a purple tintish, purple tint to the leaves as well. Oh, here's a good example here. I don't know if you can see that. So, and these are, these will bear on last year's canes, so we should get fruit earlier on these ones as well. These ones I need to, I still haven't put the string up. There'll be wires between there. Okay, we've moved back a little bit. I had to help with the toddler for a minute, but I'm going to go into the main orchard beds now. So this is our pear tree. If you've seen my videos from last year, you will have seen this. It was flowering. It's done now. So I'll insert a picture here of its flower. I think it lasted like a week and a half, 2 weeks. But it just finished a couple days ago. I didn't quite get to the tour in time for that. Maybe next year. And then this is a new tree, a new addition to our orchard, and it's a peach. So last year we had this one here and we cut it down. Not all the way. I decided after my husband got this far to not make him cut it down because I decided to do this. Here, come around to this side here. I just put some chicken wire around it and planted a clematis. I have the tag. I will insert what it is below or on the screen. I forget what kind it is. But it is the kind that blooms on new shoots. So I'll be able to just cut it back towards the ground every year and it should reclimb. And it gets to about 4 to 5 feet, so it's not a super tall one. But look how pretty. I mean, it was just planted. It was sitting out for like a week and then was just planted yesterday, I think, or the day before. So it's just still adjusting a little bit, but yeah. And I just tied it up with twine for right now, but it should manage to climb up that on its own. But back to the peach I was telling you about. So I think it's a Red Haven peach. We do have one other peach tree that I will show you, a different variety that we'll get to. Yes, it's a Red Haven. So again, this was just planted not too long ago, a couple days. It's got spider webs on it though. Don't really want on it right now. So yeah, it got planted with some mycorrhizae fungi, and it got some rocks around the trunk there, and then cardboard mulch to kill some of the grass around it so that it doesn't have to compete with that. And I'll probably be planting some herbs around it, actually, not right next to it, but like towards the edge of the bed. And I'll talk about that more as I go. Let's keep moving on. On the other side here, my bleeding heart came back, so that's exciting. Those are gorgeous. A lot of these beds have a lot of weeds, and I'll try to get to weeding it. The goal this year is to edge this area, but I think this is one area where I'm gonna try to weed around my plants as best I can, but I'm gonna try not to stretch as much about the grass in this area this year. Okay, so the daffodils that are around these trees I planted last year. There's a couple clumps like here. I planted, the ones around the trees were planted, I guess, 2 falls ago, so in 2019. And then these ones, they've got a few clumps here that are still looking gorgeous that I planted last fall in 2020. And there's also some allium clumps that are starting to come up. Well, my alliums, especially in the orchard, are looking a little yellow on the leaves. So if you have any ideas, I think I might just give them some compost. They just might need some feeding. Here, I put a little tag to remind myself. I had some Blue Monday salvia that I had started from seeds that were just ready to get in the ground. I didn't pot them up, so they were in their little cells. So they actually already look better than they did. They looked pretty sad. So I stuck them there in the hopes that they'll come up and look pretty. I'll probably put some more annuals in that spot there. I might move the stones. These hydrangeas, that one might be coming back a little bit from the bottom, but they're not looking great. So I'll probably remove these. These are the mini mauvettes. They were so cute, but again, like, I planted them when it was so dry, and so that didn't go well. So this area will be some herbs, mostly probably annuals this year. I'm thinking of doing like a branch trellis structure with beans, because they're a nitrogen fixer and good for pollinators and just really beautiful looking. So I'm thinking of doing that there as well as over on the other side of this apple tree. So let me tell you a bit about these apples. This one is blooming, and actually the other one is just finishing blooming, so they did overlap, which is good. That's the goal. The 3 apples we have in here should overlap in their blooms. The third one didn't bloom this year, so that's okay. It's still young. This one is a Zestar apple, I'm pretty sure. So, and it is their 3rd year? I don't know. So they were planted in 2019. They were probably about a year old then. They didn't fruit at all last year, or they didn't bloom last year. Actually, that's not true. The Liberty, the other one, the one I'll show you in a minute, did, but I picked off the fruit. So I will, if it fruits, I will probably just let it do a few fruits, not a lot, so that we can still get a good, root system and growing going on. Root system growing and developing and just growing is really the focus I want right now, but we might let a few happen. Well, I'll finish up this bed and then come back around. I did start planting some herbs. This is actually a black currant bush that just went in, and this has the coolest little flowers. It was flowering when I got it actually from the nursery. So we'll see, we might get some fruit from that. I'm hoping to make some jams. So that would be really cool. And then this is a Duchess of Oldenburg apple here. And yeah, this is the one that didn't flower this year, but I'm okay with that. Hopefully next year maybe, we'll see. It still looks like it's growing nicely. It's leafed out beautifully, so that's good. It just occurred to me that I didn't show you the gooseberry, so I'm coming back here in between the pear and this apple tree here. I have some gooseberries that I also planted in the heat of summer last year, and they were also looking really rough. But they have, look at this. Look at all that gorgeous foliage and growth, and there are tiny flowers. Ooh, it's also prickly. And I just pricked myself. Yeah, so there are tiny flowers in and amongst them. I'm gonna have to warn my kids about their prickles. It'd probably be best if I weed around them, but we'll get there. And oh, right next to them, I transplanted these chives this year, and they're gonna bloom soon. So cool. And I just planted, I picked them up at the nursery because they were just so cute. Those are a annual salvia. Those are, let's see if I can remember. I think I stuck the tag over there for this reason. I did, here, okay. They are a Mirage Cherry Red Autumn Sage. So I believe they're annuals, and I just thought they were really pretty, so I stuck them there. So around the trees, I'm hoping to do what is often referred to as guilds, where I basically just do flowers and herbs and plants that are beneficial to the trees and kind of creating an ecosystem, if you will, kind of like nature would in a way. And there's different kinds of plants that you want in there, nutrient accumulators, obviously pollinator plants, and I will probably do a separate video getting into all that. I don't want to get too much into it now, but I've started sticking a couple things in, and then we'll probably fill in with a bunch of annuals as well. There's some comfrey I just planted here coming up. Okay, and I love these daffodils. These are all, again, from the pink narcissus mix, so they're all kind of romantic, and these ones are a little bit more yellow, but kind of maybe peachy, and they all go really well together. So I'll come over to this side now. I'll just quickly scan here. We did get a new play set, so, and those logs will go up next to it. We were moving them to mow. So one day the stream will be the trench will be a stream, will be a feature, but not quite yet. Okay, this is our other peach tree that we planted when we planted the apples, and I'm pretty sure it's a contender peach. If not, I will correct myself on the screen here. And this bloomed this year as well. I don't know if we'll get peaches. The peaches are self-fertile, but they do better when they do have a pollinator. So I don't know. You tell me, are those baby peaches there? Possibly. I'm not sure. It just finished blooming recently, so I need to keep an eye on that, though. I don't know what that is, and that does not look great. So peach trees do struggle here, so I'm trying. I've got some giant burdock that really needs to be dug up there as well. I don't want to let that bloom, and I'll probably try to, if I could gently dig up as much of the root as I can, that'd be great. Okay, this is my newest section that I spent a good portion of the weekend working on. The grass in this bed was much like the grass you saw up there. It was like mostly grass with a couple plants in there. So it was a lot of weeding, and then I planted a whole lot of plants here. This is my pollinator garden. The beginning of it. Actually, I've had a couple more things I'm going to put in. There's a clump of grass over on that side I need to weed so I can fit some echinacea over there. I failed to get some weir at the nursery, and the ones I had transplanted last year did not make it, so I need to get some of that. We've got some clumps of alliums in here as well. These are phlox, And then, so these all just went in, and so a lot of them are very small, but I'm really excited to see what happens this year. So this is a little Rudbeckia, I believe. It's like a one that won't get super tall. And then in the middle here, I'm pretty sure it's butterfly weed. Okay, so I planted butterfly weed there last year. And then the research I did online, I thought it said that it would like bud back up, so cut it down by about a third to a bud. And there were no buds. I mean, these stalks were just completely dead. And then luckily I left it alone, because just like last week I started noticing these shoots sprouting up. So I think that's my butterfly weed from last year. And then I didn't realize it was coming back, so I did purchase a couple more butterfly weeds. So they're all kind of there. There's like a real trio. And then that one there is a bee balm or bergamot that I planted last year. It is looking a little sad because it had a huge clump of grass growing in the middle of it that I extricated, possibly not as gently as I should have, but I really wanted it out. So yeah. And these lavenders were also planted last year and are coming back. So that's fantastic. These are English lavender Munstead. Yeah, most lavenders wouldn't do super well in our zone, but I tried these last year and they did well. So I actually got a couple more to put in other places this year. More alliums there, and that is a pink yarrow that I mainly got for my daughter because she really wanted it. And I decided it would be a good pollinator plant. We've got some more Rudbeckia over here. These are taller ones. And then this is a little aster, I believe. I think. Yeah, it's a shorter aster. I think it's going to be pink. Oh, I forgot to show you. There's next to the butterfly weeds here. And there's a tiny little thing there, and that's a New York aster. We'll have purple flowers in the fall. These ones I'm excited about. These are a perennial salvia that are white. You can see them starting to bloom there. And I think that's it. I plan to put in, it's going to be jam-packed, and I might end up at some point extending this bed out towards where I'm standing now. But I'd like to put a bronze fennel in and some echinacea and also maybe some milkweed, but the milkweed might need to sneak in somewhere else. So we'll see. I don't want to get the perennials too close to the trees. So I'm hoping to put more annuals closer to the trees. So we'll see how that goes. As I mentioned before, this one is a Liberty apple. It's a semi-dwarf, so it'll be the shortest one. It's just finishing blooming, but it did overlap with the Zestar over there. So, and this one bloomed and gave us a little bit of fruit last year. I didn't let it, I picked the fruits off, but this year I'll let it do a little bit. It's looking stronger. I do want to train the branches. It looks like they've already grown so much this year. It's crazy. It looks great. I did, I've probably mentioned this in my pruning video. I didn't end up pruning very much of them. Trying to kind of take a hands-off, especially because they're so young, a hands-off approach. But what I did do this year is I did give them a little bit of fertilizer, and then they also got compost and mulch. So they could probably do with more mulch, but I need to weed again. So that'll wait a little bit. And then we're back to this really weedy section with the dead hydrangeas. I'm going to turn you around here. By the next tour, this should look different too, because this is our solar canopy. You can see on the top there, we've got our solar panels, and it's a nice shaded area underneath. I'm filming this in the evening, so we have a lot more shade right now than we normally do. Plus, I think the sun is behind the clouds momentarily. I planted 2 hydrangeas out here last year, and this one is not coming back, so I'm gonna end up taking that one out. I was giving them as long as I could, but yeah, that looks pretty dead. So that's gonna come out. We may or may not replace it with something this year. We can always wait till next year. This is gonna get rugs, like landscape fabric and rugs underneath it, and couches, like a couch and chairs. I'm so excited about that. And then over here, I realize it's not really an orchard, but I'm excited to have the seating. This one's coming back, yay! This is a vanilla strawberry, which I believe is a panicle hydrangea, so hopefully we'll get some blooms. I do want to, I did weed around it and give it some compost, and I want to expand this bed out. I want to expand this bed out this way a little bit and plant some annual flowers in there as well, just to round it out a bit here, make a nice little bed. I do want to show you a couple more things before we finish off our orchard tour, and so let's head this way. I still haven't gotten the bridge, but it's on my to-do list. It's really hard to find one that, I don't know, that meets my requirements. So I'm working on it. I want it to be pretty sturdy because I'll probably push the lawnmower over it, and I want me and my kids to be able to go over it. So I don't want like a really puny one. So there's that. Right now, my kids stuck a board there. So we've been kind of walking over it. It's got bird poop on it too, though. So yeah. Okay. So here, these are our elders that were here before. If you've seen some of my other videos, you might recognize these. These look great. I need to weed and give them compost and all those things, but they're here. I believe I saw some clusters. I did. Yes, look. They're going to give us some elder flowers and berries this year. If I can get to the berries before the birds. But it looks like a lot more clusters than last year, which is great. And I do hope to also save some flowers this year. I didn't want to give up the berries, so I didn't get many flowers last year. All right, but these beds here, it's hard to tell because it's still grass because I ran out of cardboard at the time, but I'm getting more. And so this will be like mowed again in cardboard and mulched. But these are going to be our herb fairy beds. So let me back up a little bit here. There's one on either side. The elders are the beginning of them. I did already transplant some lemon balm. I had a bunch in the potager that was coming back. So I transplanted one there, and there was one in the orchard already as well. And there's still some in the potager. But this bed here, so both beds have an elderberry at either end. So the elderberries that were already there are Samil and Samdal. I don't know which one's which, but that's what they are. And then at the end, those are both coarser, and those are all Sambucus nigra, which is the European black elderberry, which is the kind that I believe is most medicinal. So that's why I ended up going with those. And then here, these are some Rosa rugosa. I believe it's called Dart's Dash, I want to say. So there's just two right here. They're very pricky, which I found out when planting them. But there will be lots of other herbs around here, and the beds will be mulched, so it will be more obvious that they're beds. And one of the reasons I wanted to film right now is the lilacs are just about to pop. The white ones over there are already blooming. Let's come and see these lilacs because they are gorgeous. So look at those. Aren't those glorious? This week I want to come out and harvest some. Oh, you can hear the bees. That's so good. I have my microphone in, so I'm not sure if you can hear the bees, but whenever I see and hear the bees, it makes me happy. Yes. I think many of you as gardeners will understand that. Yeah. These bushes are huge. I don't really do anything with them as far as maintenance and upkeep. And possible that I should to get some of the bigger branches out, because you can see like the clusters from last year, because lilacs tend to bloom on newer wood. So we might get more blooms in the future if we do that. But we've got several huge lilac bushes back here on the hanger pad. You can see they are gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Cleaning up here is a big project, so it's on my list. I would love to get to it this year. Don't know if we will. We got a bunch of branches that we're storing up here. There's a tiny lilac blooming in the middle of the hanger pad where there's like a hole. And there's grapevines under here somewhere, but they need to be found. And yeah, this is just a big project we haven't gotten to yet, but I'll show you it here just because the lilacs are so gorgeous. Yeah, you can see all along the ground there, those are grapevines. So it's kind of a different view here of our orchard area and berry garden. We got the basketball court in the middle. To be honest, I wouldn't have chosen to put it there. It was there when we moved in, and I've been planting around it, obviously. But my husband does love to play basketball, and it's been so wonderful seeing him play with the kids and just kind of get back to it. So, all right, I'm going to go play with my family now. They're all coming out to our new swing set and slide here that we were able to get for them. And just enjoy this beautiful evening. I hope you are all well and enjoying yourselves. And yeah, happy May, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Happy gardening until then.